All right, let's get this show on the road. Welcome to Lucas Tech on Now. I'll be your host, Scott Lucas, and we are going to pick up from our last live stream where we were creating a service catalog item that would allow us to use a multi-line variable set and use that to pass some information back to our flow and do some processing with the data that we retrieved that was input from our users into our multi-line variable set. So let's go ahead and get started again, and we'll do a quick recap, and we'll keep moving. Back to live action. All right, cam bottom right. All right, so here we are. We're on our catalog item that we built in our last video. Make sure you go check that one out if you have any questions on the multi-line variable set. And it's pretty straightforward. Create your catalog item, add a variable set. And when you add that variable set, there is an option to choose multi-line variable. Then you go through and add your fields like we see here. So we got first name, last name, email address, company, choose a role, and an action, right? And this is going to allow us to put many rows of data into this multi-line variable set, which also allows us to do some really cool functionality behind the scenes where we can do some preliminary data validation by looking up the role and the user that they're entering, and maybe doing a different action. So we can do an add if the user doesn't exist, then add them into this custom table, right? We have a custom table out there for the customer roles, or we can do a remove if we want to remove somebody from that role. So again, just a quick recap, we created a custom table that's going to house customer contact roles, and that table has three attributes. It has a reference to the sys user table, has a reference to the company table, core company, and then it has a choice field for the different types of roles. So on our screen here, we see a couple examples of what we were thinking we could have: a financial approver, a change approver, privacy, and you can build out that list however you see fit for your business needs. So one thing that we did get working on the last stream is if we go in here, we're going to use able tutor, and then able dot tutor at example.com, and we're going to choose Acme North, and we're going to choose, I think it's change approver. Yeah. So what we've done is we have a client script, catalog client script, that's running on change of the role. And what we're doing is we're sending that back to the server side to do some validation with this user to see if they already have this role. There's no reason to add this user if they already have the role. So this is kind of the first level of data validation that we're doing in this particular example that will allow us to let the user know, like, hey, no reason to submit this one. They already have it. Click cancel, move on your way, or change it. And now if you notice, we have able tutor example is available and clear to be assigned the role financial approver. So that's pretty neat, right? So then we can do add, and now we're going to get our first line in our data set, right? So now we have able tutor, email address, company, financial approver, and the action of add. So we're going to use those in our flow to actually go ahead and do an insert into this custom table for this user with that role. All right. And if you notice when you had highlighted over the add button, we can have up to 50 rows of data in a multi-line variable set. I'm not sure if that's a hard limit or if there's ways around that with some system properties or something that we can do that to get us some more rows, but 50 is a lot. I can't imagine someone coming in here and doing 50 lines of entry this way, but To do 3 or 4 seems pretty convenient. And I think in the last video too, we used the example of firewall rules. Like, would be another good example where you can have, open port this on this server, open up port this, block this port on this other firewall, etc., etc. So yeah, so lots of examples out there. I'm sure we can come up with some more. And if you have some more ideas of what we could do here, feel free to leave them down in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Much appreciated. All right, so we have, if we go to our next tab here, and this is a quick overview of the catalog script, client script that we have. We're just setting our, getting our variables from the form. We got our Ajax helper, and then we're just adding our params, doing our lookup, and then returning the answer that we get back from our Ajax helper. Gotta love this new feature in Utah, where you can right-click on the script. You can either find references or open the definition. Pretty neat. So it's going to open up a new tab for us automatically. So here's our PDI Ajax helper script. Extends the Ajax processor. And here we are. We're just setting our variables from the client side. We're going to go look to see if the user, look up the user by their email address. If we get the ID next, we get the sys ID, and then we go and we take that sys ID or the user. Again, remember we had three attributes on our custom table: the company, the user, and the role. And then we do our glide query. If we find a record, we just simply say this user already has that role. Else return this user is available and clear to be assigned the role plus the role, just to have some extra clarity in there. Pretty straightforward. We won't be doing much else in here at this time. We're going to turn the rest of the validation and any other lookups and data manipulation over to our flow that we're going to build today. So let's jump into our flow, and we'll keep moving. So we'll go back to our instance, go into Flow Designer, pop us out in a new tab. And we're going to create a new flow. Boom. And we're going to call this one customer, add, remove customer roles. We'll copy and pasta. We're going to add a couple here just to make sure that when we run this in our instance, we're going to give it ITIL. We're going to give it catalog admin. And we might need one more. I need to check to see if we created any ACLs on our custom table. And it might be just based off of ITIL, but we'll have to double check that, but no big deal. But these two will make sure that when this runs as a normal user, that they have all the rights to actually update our record, right? Because one thing that we find a lot when we're doing stuff for our customers and we get a request that comes in, well, we want to be able to put that request in that company's user domain. We are in a domain sup environment. So lots of times we want to just make sure that our end users have the right visibility, have the right rights needed to update that request item, change the company, make sure the company's set properly, make sure the domain's set properly, and a normal user wouldn't necessarily have some of those, some of that access. So by giving them catalog admin, when they run this, anything that's run in the flow should have the correct rights to be able to go out and do whatever we're asking it to do in the flow. There are some examples where we got to do some kind of weird stuff, but those are much more advanced and usually requires having a flow and a subflow run as one runs as system and one runs as the user. And we got to do some things to make sure those things pass off correctly. But for now, we're going to start with with these two, and we'll just get it going. And while we're waiting for that to load, we'll skip the tour for now. Let's go back here and let's go to our custom table. Let's look here. What do we have here? Do we have any ACLs? Role, customer team member. Okay. So let's see. Controls. Okay, so we created this role. So let's go back to our flow designer here and see if we can add that role. There it is. Now we know for sure that people running this flow have the ability to update that table. Nice. Excellent. All right, so here we go. I'm not sure if some people might not know, but in Utah, I don't think it was in Tokyo, but the Utah release, we do have a different view that we can do in our flow designer now. I'm not a It's different, so I'm not sure if I like it yet or not. Most of the time, I just like to keep it traditional, and just in my mind, I understand that verticality that we have in the other view. But this is pretty neat. I mean, I like the way that they are going down this path. This reminds me a whole lot of Power Automate, the Microsoft product. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So we'll try to build this one out this way to see what it feels like. So our trigger is going to be the service catalog, right? Advanced options. It's the default. I like to check it just because I'm OCD a little bit. Click done. We're good there. We're going to add a node. Okay, it's kind of neat. Yep. All right, so let's talk about what we're going to be doing, right? So we need to look at our flow and come up with what do we think the course of action is going to be, right? So the first thing we know is we're going to be passing back an array from our our catalog item, right? So when we have a multi-line variable set, it passes all of our rows of data back as an array to Flow Designer, right? So it should be noted, we could do all of this processing of this data on the server side. We don't necessarily even have to use Flow for this, but ServiceNow is putting a lot of time and effort into Flow Designer and Process Automation Designer. From my opinion, is we should be trying to leverage Flow as much as we can, and learn the ins and outs of it, learn some of the nuances. But reality is, we could have done all this in a script include. From our Ajax script, we could have passed that back to another script include if we needed or wanted to do all the validation, looking up the users, creating the users. All those things we could have done very simply in a script include, and then came back and updated our variable and our catalog item, etc. So let's see. All right. So yeah. So Flow Designer, we're there, right? So first thing we're gonna do is we're going to configure our item, and we're gonna go to Flow. And we're going to save, just so we can get the, I don't think we need to activate it. I think we might have to activate it to to that's interesting. Activate. Oh, because there's probably because there's no because there's no action. All right. So we're gonna do first thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna do some flow logic. All right. We're gonna do flow logic, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a for each. All right. And there for each we're gonna save, and I want to see if I can get this. Fresh here. See if we can get this connected here. That's what I thought. I thought we had to get it. I thought we had to get this published before we could see it over there. So let's switch back to our other view. Get rid of you. We'll save. Requested item record. Yeah. Oh, I know what we gotta do first. First things first. Hold on. Anybody know what we gotta do first? We gotta get our variables. Let's get our variables. Get catalog variables. There we go. That makes more sense. Drag this over. And now we're going to select. There we go. Add that over. Now we can save it. Now we'll activate it. And now we'll refresh this. And now we'll have them connected. We should be able to get them connected. Come on, PDI. There we go. Save that. Now we're linked up between the flow and our catalog item. Okay. So now we got our variables. And now we can get into our flow logic. All right. So now we're going to do a for each. And now look at, we have our variables. It's an array object. And now we can say for each item in our array, we can drag our pill over. And now we can start doing something with our objects that are in this array. Right? So the first thing we want to do is we've already verified on the front end if the user exists, right? So we can look at this and say, we've already validated any of the users. We should be doing something with them back here on the add action, right? So what we're going to do is we need the user ID, right? So the first thing we got to do is look up a record. And it's going to be the sys user. This user. And we are going to be looking up the email field. Right? And we're going to be looking up our email field from our array. All right, so we're going to look this up. All right, so now we're going to iterate through, look up the email address. Now we have the user ID. We can put some additional validation here, but again, we've already validated it on the front end. We'll see just to make sure. Um, we'll see how that how that plays out. We can add some more validation, but we'll just keep going. Okay, so we got service catalog, we got our variables. We're gonna loop through this. We're gonna look up the email address to get the user ID, and you can see here now we have access to the user record that we've got. We're gonna have the sys-ID. There it is for the user, and we can go like this. And now we can say flow logic, right? If action, right? If action is add, we're going to do some stuff, right? So off of our array, we're going to grab our action. All right, so here's our action. Oh, yeah, sorry, just kidding. If action is add, right? Look up the user. If the action is add, now we're going to create a record. Create a record. This is going to be our custom table. Customer team members. Again, we have 3 fields to add here. We've got our role, which would, again, come from our for each array. Right, so there's our role. I don't know why I've noticed this, that it does this. You have to drop it twice for some reason. Not sure why. And then we got the company. Again, comes back from here. Company. User, which is going to come from our lookup user record. Come down, grab the sys-ID just to be safe. There we go. So now we've got our catalog, our variables, our for each. We're going to look up the email address to get the user ID back. If the action is add, then we're going to create the users in the table. Let's save that. We're going to activate that. Okay, everything's published. Come back here. Let's give it a try. And we're going to add a user. We're going to add able. Able. Oops, it's ER. Tutor at example.com. We're going to add it as Acme North America. North America. Going to be a financial approver. We got our validation that this user is ready to go. They can be added to this role. We're going to choose add. And let's give it a whirl. We're going to click our order now. Everything should be submitted, ready to go. There's our variable sets. We haven't created any tasks or anything. And let's do some checking here. 1 second. Sorry about that. Can bottom right. All right, so let's go check to see if we have any more users in our custom table. There's that. Let's go. Tables. Show our list. Look at that. We have, and let's look at the created time, so we're not doing any smoke and mirrors. Look at that. 2 minutes ago. So our flow is working to add our users to our custom table. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. So now that we've done that, let's test it again and make sure that our logic is sound for doing multiples. Service catalog. And services. Add remove customer roles. Now we need, what do we got here? We got Fred as a financial approver. So we'll add Fred Luddy as a change approver. And actually, let's remove both of those and we'll re-add them, right? So let's do that. Yeah. So let's remove. Delete those out of our table. And then we'll come back here. And now we're going to do able. Oops. North. Change approver. Oops. Spelled the name wrong. Look at that. And validate that. Acme. There we go. Add. Now we're going to add Fred Buddy. North. He's going to be change approver. Good deal. Add. And we're going to add Fred again. And this time we're going to do a financial approver. Good deal. Add. So now we're going to do 3 at a time. Let's see how it does. Click order. Go back to our table. Look at that. We've now processed the entire data set, putting them into our custom table, adding the correct role, company, got the user references. I would say that's a pretty solid accomplishment there. That's we can just imagine how we can improve some of our data flow and data entry by using these multi-line variable sets. So now what if the user's not found? What if the user's not found? Right? So if we think about this, right? We come back here and what would so for a customer, right? Um, Steve Smith Steve Smith at test.com is starting at Acme. Right? And we want to he's running the new, he's part of their IT, he's a change approver. Right? So now what we've done is we said did not find the user in the system. The system will create the user first, then add the role. So now we got to have that option in our flow, right? So in our flow designer, we can come back here. Now if we look at our logic, we're iterating over our array. We're looking up the user email, right? If the action is add, we do this. Right? So we know we are going to fail here, right? Because we're not going to have the user, right? Because there's no user to look up. Right? So we need to adjust our flow, right? We need to have something a little different in here. We need to adjust our flow a little bit here, right? So we need to have another if, right? So we're going to look up the user. And then we can have an if that says, hey, if this was successful and it's add, do this. Else, we didn't find the user, so this was not successful. Come down here, create the user, look up the user, and add them to the team member role. So let's see if we can figure that one out, right? Okay, let's see. We got this. So I think it should be here. I think it should be here. So we're going to say if so we're going to say if user found, and we're going to get the status of this success, right? So if we successfully found the user, go down this path, right? So what we're going to do is if the user is found, do this. Okay. Doot. I think we need to rework some of our flow here. So let's take you and pop you down here for now. Let's see if we got if users found. We want to move you. Looks like we can't move you. Okay. So let's get rid of you. If users found. Another if. Action is add. And then come back to our for each, look at our action. It's add, right? So look up the user, if the user is found, if the action is add, right? Then add the user. Okay, so now we've got a couple layers here, right? Okay, so now we can come down here. Now we have an else, right? If the user's not found, now we can do some other things, right? So if it's this, then this, and now we'll have an else for our remove action, right? So yeah, I think this is going to be a better setup for us. We might have to tweak it some more, but hey, you never know. Maybe we'll get lucky. There's the cam. Let's see. Cam top left. See if that's better so you guys can see what I'm... Cam top left. Cam top left. Thank you. Thank you, bot. Yeah, that's probably better. All right, so if user's not found, right? So we'll just do an else here. See if this will work out for us, right? So if user's found, we do this. If it's not found, come down here. Okay, so now we're going to add an action. We're going to create a record. And now we're going to create the user first. Right? We're going to create the user first. So we'll go out to our sys user table or our sus table. Sys user. We're going to add our fields. So we got first name, last name, user ID. Well, hello, happy weekend. Thanks, AM. And then we got welcome to the channel. First name, last name, user ID, and email address. Okay. So I don't know if you noticed when the message came in, the lights in the room turned purple. So I have a couple bots in the back end that help me with the production of the stream. So on first chat or first message, I have a command that goes out behind the scenes and turns the light purple. So I can say red lights, red lights, red lights. Now the lights are red. Hoping you're having a happy weekend as well. All right, so yeah, it's pretty cool. It's using an application called StreamerBot. I use it on my Twitch channel a lot when I was doing some game streaming. But we can do things like just chatting, and it automatically does all the movement integration for us. We can say back to live action, cam top right, blue lights, random lights. We got some random colors in there. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. You do you work in the ServiceNow space? How did you find the channel? Yeah, we do. I like I like to do a lot of integration work. It's my day job. I do a ton of integration work in the ServiceNow platform. Uh, in the bio on the channel. Oh, nice, awesome, excellent, excellent. Yeah, I'm started out a long time ago, as you can tell by the gray in the beard, as a end user, and worked my way into the business process side. Had some SharePoint experience and was working in the SharePoint landscape for a little bit. Um, but ultimately, ServiceNow is where I wanted to end up. And lucky enough, I was able to get into uh, a company that allowed you to get in there and actually do a whole bunch of implementations across the spectrum from all the modules from ITSM to CSM, um, you name it. We've probably touched it at some point across the ITOM. Oh, nice. Yep, yep, yep. Excellent. Yeah, ITOM is an elusive beast. There's a lot going on there. And as you're quickly finding out, the platform itself is just continuing to just further its complexity in areas where as a developer you need to yeah, nice to meet you as well. Are you in the States or are you overseas? I don't think it'll quite take our jobs just yet, but I have noticed ChatGPT does have some things that are spot on, especially in the ServiceNow space, and some things are like, where did you get that answer from? You're from India? Okay, excellent, excellent, awesome. So yeah, we've come a long way in the ServiceNow space, and for many years, I did did not want to use Flow Designer. I just from my background, everything I like to do from script includes and business rules and um, events. Oh, awesome! Well, I appreciate that. That's fantastic. Yeah, I'm looking to build a nice little community here on YouTube that looks at real world problems, and it's not, necessarily what what you're going to see in you still hate Flow Designer. It's growing on me. It's Flow Designer is absolutely growing on me. Um, so it's definitely it's taken a little while to more win me over completely, but it's getting there. And the last two releases they've given Flow Designer some pretty big enhancements. So well, it's not quite as mature as the workflow engine was, but I think it's getting there. So, but yeah, I'm really hoping that we can build out a community that focuses on real world you know initiatives, right? Not necessarily something that's gonna teach you the you know what Flow Designer is and things like that, but really focus on common questions or areas that I find myself looking up, like, hey, I've never used a multi-line variable before. Uh, Multi-line variable, so I just never used it. It wasn't part of my responsibilities. The catalog was not my responsibility. That was always somebody else's responsibility. So I was spent more of my time behind the scenes doing the integration work with like Salesforce or Jira or another ServiceNow to ServiceNow implementation, Cisco phone systems, things like I was always on the integration side. So a lot of the stuff in the catalog, I'm still like, oh, let's see if we can figure it out. And this is an example where we want to be able to give our end users the ability to manage customer roles um, in the system without having to go to the service desk to do it. Automate it, and we have end users that are responsible for that customer experience, and for them, they know when someone takes a different position. They know if someone comes on that has to be added to the change approver groups or whatever that is, right? So this is an example of that where I'm like, Well, let's figure out a way that we can give that to them. So I'm in my PDI. That's, we're just kind of do the proof of concept, and um, so far so good. We've been able to iterate through our flow. We added all three of these at one time, based off of our catalog item here. So it's pretty neat. So now we were able to go through and add someone that was in the system. So now we're checking. If you noticed here, we said when they entered this person's information, we used an Ajax script to collect this information, or a client catalog script, and pass that back to an Ajax script that says, go look this user up by their email address, see if they're in the system. And since we didn't find them, we notified the user, said, hey, did not find the user in the system. The system will create the user first, then add the role. So that's part of the workflow we're working on right now. So in our for each, look up the email address. If we find the user, if the action is add them to the team members. Else, we didn't find the user. We're going to go create the user in the system. So now we're going to go to our array, and we're going to get the first name, drop the pill, last name, email address, and email address again. There we go. So we got that. So now we're going to create the user, and then we could put some validation in here, but for our purposes, I think we're just going to try to see if we can just create the user, then add them right to our custom table. So we can do a little copy, drag that down to here, create the user, and here we're going to change this up a little bit. All right, so now it's not going to be this. This is still good. This is coming from our for each, but this user now needs to be the user record that we created here. All right, so in step 8. All right, let's get that sys drag that there. All right, so I think we might be in a spot to where we can test this. I think. Create the user. Done. Save. Activate. All right, so that's activated. We'll just give a little refresh here just to make sure. So this is something pretty cool that I just started working on. I don't have it completed yet, but ideally, what I want to be able to do is, when I'm doing a live stream like this, if I say, so I'm going to delete these incidents. Oh, you can archive it from here now? Oh, that's sweet. We're going to delete these 3 incidents, right? Yeah, that's fine. Create incident. So if you notice now, we're at 108 or 10008. StreamerBot automatically is integrated with my ServiceNow instance. So this incident was created by me saying, create incident. Oh, there's another one. So if we open it up, So you can see test from StreamerBot, description set from StreamerBot, incident number. And I just didn't set a caller, but ideally, what I want to be able to do is have folks that are watching the stream, if they have a question or they want to submit a topic for maybe a later stream, or something that they would like to have answered or kind of go through as a group, that we can have a chat command that says, whatever, pound or exclamation point, ticket or whatever, and then I can accept the parameters that you type in as an input variable that will come in and fill out this information. Because when you're interacting with YouTube, all the bots have access to like your profile and stuff, right? So I'll be able to get your user ID, create a user from it, and all that stuff in ServiceNow, so I can actually have a record. Maybe it'll be a custom app we build or something together where we can call it YouTube ideas or something like that, where we build a custom app that allows everybody to interact with it, submit their suggestions. We can even take it a step farther, where we could have you guys retrieve like the latest comments or latest work note if we were putting it in there, and it'd actually come back to stream. We could do something cool, I think. But yeah, so I got that set up a few days ago, and it's the same premise as how the lights work. Once you get the API understanding down, and on most systems, especially if you're using REST and JSON, it's you can pretty much put everything together and make it happen. So, all right. So where were we? That's right. Did that. Okay. So now we're gonna see if we can add a new user to the system. And we're gonna use Steve Smith. Steve Smith. Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. That's fantastic. So we'll do steve.smith@test.com. We'll put him on Acme, North America. Should get our validation. And we're going to have him as a change approver. Okay. Action is add. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Okay, we're going to order. Okay, we got our order. Let's duplicate this one. And let's look at sys users. Oops. Let's see. Did we get... Uh-oh, I think we have an error. We get an error? We might have got an error. I don't see Steve Smith. Oh, I think we did get an error. Okay, let's see what we got. Error, okay. Oh, seriously? What do we got? No record found. Which makes sense. Oh, I know what I did. So in our flow, we need to don't fail on error. Don't fail on error. If we look at, let's turn that on. Duplicate. Oh, I thought I turned these on already. let's see the properties. Flows and actions. There we go. Turn that on so we get some better debugging. Okay, that's it. Save. Date. Catalog. Services. All right, let's try it again. Steve Smith. Acme. Over. Add. Order. Flow requested. Oh, there we go. Something different. So the requested flow operation was prohibited by. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Is it up here? Oh, well, look at that. Look at that. We could right there. Hot damn. Learned something new. Sweet. That's what I'm talking about. That's cool. So that error, I know what that error is. So that means in our flow, go to our properties. We need one more. We need user admin. User underscore admin. Boom. Now, I think we're in business. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Thanks for that little tip. I didn't realize that. That's actually really good because in production, that would really help if something's broken in production or not working as it would and as it did in test or sandbox or anything like that. You can just go turn that on in production, get your error validation, go fix it, then push your update set. Nice. Very nice. All right, let's go back. Come on. Services. Add a role. Add. Steve. Come on, Steve. Now's your time, buddy. Smith at test.com. Acme North. Change approver. Add. Yep. Fantastic. Order. Moment of truth. Feeling confident. I'm feeling confident. We're going right to the user table. There he is. Got our new user. Excellent. We got Steve Smith created. Boom. We go to our custom table now. There's Steve Smith, new change approver for Acme North. Awesome. That is fantastic. That is awesome. That is sweet. That is really good. So we've been able to add the user, do validation if they're in the system. If they're already in the system, we just add them to the team record. If they're not in the system, we create the new user record, add them to the team roles, and we're good. That is excellent. So now we need to do, so if users found, if action is this. Okay, so if we find the user, if action is add, if they're not, if in this, so this should be an else. All right, and now we're going to remove them from a role. Because in our catalog item, we have the ability in our actions to add or remove a role from our custom table. So now let's test our flow. So if we find the user, the action is add, we create them. So the only other option we have is remove. So our else would be remove. So now we're going to have to, we already have the user looked up. So we have the user ID. That's what we get here. Now our action is going to be delete record. And not quite yet. Not quite yet. First thing we got to do is we got to look up the record first. Got to look up the record first. Look up a record. And we're going to look up on our custom table. Right. And we're going to look up the company. All conditions. And the role. And the user. Come on, get down there. The user. So from our object, choose your role is going to be this. Company is going to be this company. And the user is going to be from 3. This guy. All right. As we said, if we found the user, if it's add, we do this. Else, look up the record. There we go. I think this is good. And now that we have the record we want to delete, we can delete the record. Delete record. And that should be our record from step 8. Look up record. Boom. Done. There we go. Let's save. We'll activate. Now we're going to remove. So everybody should be in the system. So I think at this point, I think we're good. I think we have our flow down. Because at this point, they've already been added. I think we're good. I don't know if we have to do anything else here. We might have to, but I don't think so. Give a little refresh. And we're going to remove Steve Smith. From Acme. we should get the thing saying already has this role. And now we're going to choose remove. We'll add that. And let's really push the limits. We're going to remove able. Acme. America. As a change approver. We're going to remove. You got our same that already has it, so we want to remove them. And now we're going to add Susie test. Susie test at test.com to Acme. Change approver. Didn't find them. Add. So now we're going to remove Steve and Abel, and we're going to add Susie. Acme's gone through a reorg. They've gone through a reorg. These two people are moved on to a different department. Let's hit order now. All right, so I'm not going to refresh, but Abel should be gone. Steve should be gone. And Susie Smith should be in here. What do you think? What are the chances of this working? Uh-oh. Womp, womp, womp. Error, error, error. What do we got here? Error. Where did you error out? Yeah. What? Did I use the wrong email addresses? What did I do? Uh-oh. We broke it. I broke it. All right, let's see. Let's see what I did here. Okay. If user found. Did I spell something wrong? Maybe I spelled something wrong. Abel. Steve. Huh, those look right. Let's see. Oh, that's right. Oh, what did we do? And first time through, looked up the email address. If we found, if action add, Adam. Okay. Users found. Doop. Action wasn't, so it came this way. Is this where aired out? Maybe this is where aired out. Role company user should be. Let's see. Let's see. The first time through was looking up Steve Smith. Steve.Smith at test.com. Here. Yeah. That makes sense. Change approver, company. Huh. Why did we get no record found there? Did we get no record found? Oh. Because, oh no, Steve Smith is a change approver. Hmm. Hmm. Let's see what this is. Look up team. Company is. Oh, why are you not working? Company's company. Role is role. User is this user. Hmm. So let's do this. Get his SysID. Put their. Oh, come on. That's of course, we found it. Why is it not finding it in our flow? Company, rule, user. What did I do wrong? Let's see. Change approver. Already has this role. I want to remove it. Add. Order. Oh, no record. Interesting. What we got here? There is. We've got to be close. Gotta be. It's gotta be. It's gotta be. Hey, there we go. There we go. Just had the wrong pill. There we go. All right, now I think we can do our multi-line test. So Steve Smith, Steve.Smith, test.com. We're going to add him back as a change approver. Shouldn't have the role. Yep. We're going to add. Now we're going to remove Able. Tutor. Example.com. Acme North. And you're going to be removed from that role. Sorry, Able. And we're going to add Susie Smith. Acme North. Change approver. To the side, we're gonna add. I say what the. I say that a lot in my normal conversation when I'm speaking. So I added a little thing that's when I does that, it puts the question marks around my head. Order now. All right, let's just let's make sure. Executions. Oh, I think we're good. All right, so we should have Abel gone. Steve should be added back, and Susie should be here. Look at that. Susie, Steve, Abel's gone. Yes. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. I need to come up with a success, something that happens when something good happens on stream. Like what does good, but we need to have need to come up with something else. Like I'm on fire. On fire. Oh, fantastic. That is excellent. Let's do a quick recap of what we did. So, we started off with a catalog item. That catalog item has, let's go back here, back to catalog item. Add or remove customer roles. A catalog item is a multi-line variable set. You can, and we have configure item. Yeah, I think you should sell this to live streamers. Well, it's not my bot. It's not my bot. Streamer bot is a is a someone else's creation, and if it streamer, oops, just kidding. I'll give the guys a little shout out. But that's the link to the bot, and it works with OBS, works with YouTube, works with Twitch, It's incredible. It actually uses you can write your own custom C sharp library. So let me show you what I can show you what we got. Just chatting. Just chatting. Here. Where did I put my stream bot? Streamer bot. There we go. So I'm going to open it up, and then I'm going to get some code so you can kind of see what you can do with it. And what's really cool is it can control multiple versions of OBS, right? So I have a 2 PC setup. I got my streaming rig and I got my gaming rig. And StreamerBot has the ability to connect to both of them. And it can control and do stuff on each instance of OBS that I have running. So it's pretty neat. Pretty neat. So yeah, back to live action. Back to live action. I'll move this over here. So this is one of the actions that I created to do the blue lights. So if I look at, this might be hard to read. I don't know if I can make that bigger or not. Yeah, I didn't think so. Let's see if that works. If not, I'll take it out. There we go. So you can use C# to go out and write your HTTP client and go through and do all the fun things that that you would do making a REST call. That's one example. There's an Elgato example. I didn't write this one. But this person wrote one using a C# library. I don't have any Elgato lights, but you can see target IP address, brightness, temperature, the URL, whatever your IP address is to your Elgato lights. HTTP request, it's going to be a put. Create your payload. One is on. Set your brightness, your temperature, number of lights. Get your array. Use your stream writer. Do all your fun things and control your Elgato lights that way. But yeah, so I just use that example as, I think this is an example of a hue one. Yeah, hue light changer, same thing. User lights, hue light, state, and this is I have hue lights in my office here. So yeah, so this bot having the ability to write your own custom C# code and inject your own libraries, it opens it up for really just about anything you can think of. Like anything you can think of, you can probably figure out how to write it in C# and figure it all out. So it's pretty neat. It's a really cool, really cool program. And then on Twitch, I have channel rewards. So on the Twitch channel, these are all rewards that people can use their channel points for, that allow them to control different parts of the stream, like the lights. There's scenes that they can enable, memes, all that fun stuff. You can have your commands, like your bot commands. Yeah, all kinds of fun stuff. But it's awesome. It's really cool. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, so that's how I automate all the stuff in the stream, is using StreamerBot and OBS Studio. And then I've got so many nested scenes. It's I really need to take some time and redo my OBS setup to have just stuff when I want to do stuff with ServiceNow, and then stuff that I can still have if I ever stream stuff for games on my other channels. So, but this is good. We made progress today. This is fantastic. We got our catalog item. We got our variable sets. Go into our variable set. This is where we'll see our client catalog script. This is what we're using to do the validation of the user data that's entered on the catalog item. That passes back to our Ajax script helper. Do our validation. And then now we're in our flow designer. Our flow connected up to our catalog item. Iterate over our array from the input. We look up the user's email address. If we find them, if the user action is add, we have everything we need to add them to our custom table. If we don't, if it's not add, look up the roles in their table and delete them from our custom table. If the user is not found, come down here, create the user record, and then add the user. That is fantastic. That is streamlined. That will save, I know it'll save our users, multiple entries. Lots of times our folks that are responsible for the accounts will like to, do bulk edits at once so that they can come in here and let's say they have four or five customers under their purview. They can come in here and, add a new change approver for company A, add another change approver for company B, and then remove a change approver for company C all in one swoop without having to create multiple requests. And it's automated. Like that to me is the power of ServiceNow flow, understanding the platform, understanding the business needs, and being able to deliver solutions like that is going to make your ServiceNow journey, my ServiceNow journey, we're going to become valuable team members to the owners of our organizations that we work for. If we can look at that and say, here's how I understand the business process. Check. Everybody agrees. Here's what we're proposing that we can do to alleviate some of that administrative overhead. Okay, check. And if this was 5 different service requests that went out, that would potentially be 5 different people having to go out and do something that might take them 10 minutes or 15 minutes, for each. We're talking, 20 minutes, across those 3 tickets over the course of a year. That's a pretty significant time saving. So one thing that we're doing is we created an automation queue and an automation account so that on our dashboards, we can start leveraging how many tasks that we've automated. And we want to be able to bubble that up to our owners and decision makers to say, hey, our investment into ServiceNow is paying dividends because now we have support or service desk folks focused on the customer experience and making sure that they're following their playbooks and they're not necessarily having to go out and do repeated adds or removes and things like that. So with that mindset and with the power of ServiceNow, man, sky's the limit. We can do so much to improve our flows and ultimately just improve our bottom line and our margins on all of our deals. And the old saying, do more with less. I think this is a perfect example of how we can do that. And this is something we could iterate on too, right? Like to me, we could make it even fancier, right? Maybe we could do something in here that, is a user in the system. If they check the box, then they get reference boxes instead of having to type stuff in, right? We could do something to improve on this even. But I think in this form, they're going to have the first name, last name, and email address in the company right away. That's something that they can go in and put these in no time. Yeah, that's right. That's right. You know why? Because email gives them deniability. Oh, I didn't get the email. I didn't see it. Right? I wasn't on that string. Oh, that's funny. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. We this is one that I was asked to do in my real life, right? Day job. And I thought this would be a perfect one to showcase the power of Flow Designer, putting some thought behind the business process, figuring out a way to eliminate some needless tasks being generated, and I thought this was a good example of what you can do in the service catalog as well. Because I've never used this multi-row variable set. I've used variable sets before that I've reused across multiple catalog items, but never used the multi-row one. I thought that was sweet. When I found it, I was like, that's pretty cool. That is really cool. So yeah, so I think man, I think this is I think for our example and to show some folks how it can be done. I mean, 12 steps in a flow designer, a Ajax script, and a client catalog script. That's pretty sweet. Custom table, catalog item. There we go. There we go. So I think that's where we're at right now. Let's. Do you have any questions or anything that you're working on that you might want to spitball some ideas or anything that you have any questions or anything? Just fire them away. We'll see what we can do my best to answer them or at least point you in the right direction. You've seen employees asking to create ServiceNow tickets on ServiceNow portal. You're good? Awesome. Yeah, by all means, just if you ever have a question, just I'm live or whatever, just yeah, for sure, for sure. I think we're gonna wrap it up for today. That was a good. It's an hour and 40 minutes. We got both part one and part two done. Um, I think the next one we're gonna we'll come up with some more ideas to see that we can vet out. I do have a couple ideas for a scoped app. I've been working in a workspace for something called environment health checks. Um, so we could play around with this to see if we can grow out this functionality. But this is a custom workspace that we've built in the PDI, and essentially what this is lots of times we have as a service provider we have many products and many technologies that we support for our customers, and each customer has a subset of those technologies, right? So one customer is AVD and Citrix and Microsoft, right? And we have checks that we need to do for each of those. So I'm starting to build out um, a a scoped app that will allow us to enroll our customers uh, based on technologies and have this be automated that goes out and actually creates the monthly, weekly, and quarterly health checks based off the technology that they're enrolled in. So that's going to be a good one. That's going to be a real good one to flesh out and see if we can make it better. But then we have a couple other ones. I have some other workspaces in here. I have the service operations workspace going. I have the security incident workspace. This is a fun one. We can get into process automation designer and look at playbooks. We've got all kinds of stuff on tap. So if you guys have questions, be sure to leave them in the comments, like and subscribe, and have a great day. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great night.